Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Zack Sabre Jr. getting the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship for the second time. And I know some of y'all just like, well, when the hell did this happen? So yesterday, they had the Tanahashi Jam show. Now, this was not available for people who are overseas. So only people within Japan were able to watch this. I'm not saying that no one outside of Japan was able to watch this, but I spent the entire day trying to get my hands on this like a crack fiend, just trying to see what the fuck happened on this show. And for me and a lot of other people, we were really like, why the fuck would they do something like this? Because this is the third match that they will be having. So this is a trilogy. Like when you get to that point where you're doing a trilogy, then obviously people are going to be invested, especially in seeing that third match. You guys know that Goto ends up taking the win from Zack Sabre, beating Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP championship. And then they had another match at Resurgence pay-per-view, which ended up in a whole bunch of foolishness with the referee and the double pin. So that ended up having Goto retaining the title because everybody's shoulders was down and all that shit, whatever the situation was. So then at the Dominion pay-per-view, you guys remember Shingo Takagi had already told both of them that whatever happens between y'all two at Resurgence, my ass is next in line. So he ends up having his match with Goto at Dominion, and he doesn't win. Boo-hoo. Now, after that show, Goto's doing his interview. He was just like, bring Zack Sabre Jr. ass out here because I need to say something. So Zack comes out and he goes and say, you know what, you and I, we have unfinished business after what happened at Resurgence, and the G1 is coming up. I'm going to be in it, and I want to just make sure that whatever business, unfinished business that we got going on, we're going to take care of it before the before the actual tournament. And for me, and a lot of people were just like, yes, all right, a trilogy, they're going to get this thing done and over with or whatever. In my opinion, I was just like, right before the G1, like, it's not changing hands. Like, we don't even have to worry about this. Pretty sure probably would end up being the best match out of all three matches that they would have had. But then here comes, a couple of days later, New Japan announced that this will be a Japanese TV exclusive only, not available for overseas fans. We apologize for the inconvenience. I'm like, bitch, apologize for the inconvenience. If you're sorry about it, then let it be available for everyone else. Obviously, that didn't happen. They end up having a show yesterday, and Zack Sabre Jr. ends up taking the title via referee stoppage. And this is the second time in history of this title that this has happened via referee stoppage. So ends up basically winning with an armbar. I'm still looking for the show because I actually want to see it for myself and see what the hell happened. And the crazy thing about it was that this wasn't even the main event. And when things were happening as the show was happening, New Japan is posting the results or whatever. And after that, then I'm like, okay, well, this is a main event, right? Then boom, they posted another match with Tanahashi Jam. So he's in the main event. And I'm just like, oh, very interesting, whatever. It's interesting to see how people were really upset about this, and honestly, I can understand. Like Zack Sabre Jr., that's my boy. I think he's like the best wrestler wrestling in the world right now. Like I really do. However, as someone who's a wrestling fan and someone who really want to see New Japan, especially, get better, I'm looking at the situation as I don't think that I would have did this. I don't think I would have done this. But then, well, everybody was tearing up Zack Sabre Jr., new asshole, and Tanahashi and everybody else, and even Tony Khan. The people were literally getting at Tony Khan over this. I'm like, well, what does he have to do with this? I have no clue. But anyway, they ended up posting a couple of hours ago that Goto is going to miss the New Japan Soul show that's going to be on July 4th because he has an elbow injury. It makes sense in terms of Zack doing the armbar for him to, for the referee stoppage. So I don't know if he's actually injured in that way or whatever, but it does play along with what happened at the end of the match. Now, like I said, I don't know if this was something that I personally would have done. For me, for what I'm seeing, watching the show, when you're watching the New Japan, when you're watching the Japanese crowd and Goto, they seem to have a connection with him. And then when you're watching Goto as champion, and whenever they're doing their American dates, those, you see the disconnect. And I went to the show in Chicago and people were just like, well, who is this guy that's champion? Why can't it be so and so? And I'm just like, I feel like there's a disconnect. So for me, I don't know, because people are also complaining and saying that Zack was one of the most boring champions. And honestly, I can't say that's the case, at least not for me. Now, this does get in the way of my my fantasy booking for Forbidden Door. Y'all remember the Forbidden Door poster is William Ospreay on the poster. Obviously, he's from the UK. This kind of foreshadows that maybe he'll be doing something in terms of the main event or one of the biggest matches. Now, obviously, we got Hangman and Mox, who are going to be going for the AEW World title, so they can find themselves somewhere in the main event. But to have the two UK dudes, Zack Sabre Jr. and William, at Forbidden Door, that's going to bring in the money, and that's just getting in the way of Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness. Because y'all remember, since all in last year, I kept saying, Tony Khan, give us what we want, what we deserve. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness at Forbidden Door for 2025. And honestly, I feel like that is very unlikely at this point. And the reason why I'm saying unlikely is because we did get some random shit. Do y'all remember when Sonata had the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship? Somehow he found himself in the middle of the car with fucking Jack Perry for Forbidden Door, which honestly did not make sense to me. I think at that time they should have gone with MJF, but they fucked up the whole thing anyway. That would have been best case scenario when it came to that title and the value of the title. But here we are in 2025, and I feel like, you know, the Nigel McGuinness thing probably not going to happen, but it looks more likely that we'll see Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. Perhaps for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in London, right there in the UK where both of them are from. And that's going to be a major thing. Has this been done with them two in the ring? Obviously it has. But definitely would be probably something new for AEW fans, and it would be even big deal in terms of this taking place in the UK. Now, in terms of the G1 and then moving forward to Wrestle Kingdom, for me, my pick to win this year for G1 is Takeshita. Takesha's in Block B. Zack Sabre Jr. also in Block B. And for me, I was like, oh, well, you know what? Before all this happened, obviously today, for me, I was just like, okay, this is great. So, you know, Goto, who just had the title and lost, he was in Block A. And we was going to have to worry about Takeshita and Goto getting into it before Takeshita would actually win, and then fucking going over to Wrestle Kingdom going against him for the damn title. But obviously that is not going to happen at this point. So like I said, Zack Sabre Jr., he won the title. He doesn't need to win the fucking G1 anyway. He can't go against himself. But imagine if Zack Sabre Jr. went against himself. Like, the world is not ready for something like that. Anyway, still my pick to win is Takeshita. I would love for Takeshita to win. I mean, I don't want there to be like a hot potato situation going on with this title. I'm guessing might as well just have Zack Sabre Jr. just have the title up until Wrestle Kingdom, and then Takeshita and Zack Sabre Jr. can just have a bomb-ass match at Wrestle Kingdom, and Takeshita can win it there. I can see along the way, obviously Takeshita is a heel right now, I can see along the way, we still got half the year left, especially until January, to Wrestle Kingdom. So I would be okay with Takeshita. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but turning babyface at some point in terms of him leaving the Don Callis family, becoming more of a babyface, and then taking the title in January for Wrestle Kingdom. Is that going to happen? Probably not, but a girl is just hoping and praying and seeing if that would be the case. Like, this would be a huge situation for Takeshita to win. Like, he has been on a roll. That's been my pick. Zack Sabre Jr. won last year. That was my pick last year. And we're going to light some more candles this year for Takeshita to win. But going back to the Forbidden Door situation, it seems very likely that it's going to be Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. There's nothing going on between the two of them and the two companies to suggest that, simply because they're both from the UK, and why not do some shit like that? Like, Tony Khan does shit like this all the time, where it's like, oh, we're in your home country, guess who's winning? You are. Well, there's been a time or two when that wasn't the case, but y'all know what I mean. So I can see that being the situation when it comes to that. But do I see like William beating Zack Sabre Jr. for that title? Hell no. There's just no way that's happening. I don't see that happening at you guys, thanks so much for listening to me talk about it, because I was sitting here talking to my daughter about it and she's looking at me like, what is wrong with this lady? I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know these people. So I appreciate y'all listening to me. If you were able to see the show wherever you were able to find it, hook a sister up, because I have been losing my shit, because I just feel like it's kind of crazy to have people invested in something like this and then just be like, well, sorry, we cannot show this to you. This is just for the Japanese audience only, which is just very strange. And then for you to have it change hands at that point, was it a last second thing? It possibly could have been a last second thing in terms of if Goto was injured prior to this match and they were just like, hey, you know what, he's injured, we're going to do this anyway, Zack Sabre Jr., you're going to win the title or whatnot. I can see that being the case. But then again, if he was able to do the damn match, he could have still won, retained, and if he wasn't that injured where he's only just going to miss the next upcoming show, then what's the point of taking the title off of him anyway? So I'm not 100% sure about if this was planned or not prior because of an injury or not. But whatever the situation is, I actually do want to see the show and what happened. And if we get Will Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr., would I be excited for it? Sure, I guess so. Either way, congratulations to Zack Sabre Jr. for winning the title for the second time. You guys, I'll see y'all on Wednesday for Dynamite.